In this video, I'm going to work out some examples of how to find percentages of a whole and also how to draw a bar graph and a pie graph from the data. So students were surveyed to determine their favorite ice cream flavor. Their flavors that they could pick from were cookie dough, chocolate and mint, strawberry, chocolate, Neapolitan, key lime, vanilla, and bubblegum. And so each one of these sections has a frequency assigned to it. Now, what's important to know about the frequency is that that's how many times that flavor was picked by a student. So if we wanted to find how many people were surveyed, we're assuming, this is a big assumption, we're assuming that they all answered the survey in some way. And since we're making that assumption, we just add up all the frequencies, and that will tell us how many people were surveyed. So here we go, 9 plus 6 plus 14 plus 18 plus 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3. And when I add those all up, I get 60. So by hand, create a bar graph and a pie chart for this data. Well, this is going to be a little more work because we have to find the percentage for each one of these preferences for ice cream flavors. So that means that we would have to find the cookie dough percentage out of the total, which is 9 divided by 60, or 9 out of 60. We would find the chocolate and mint percentage, which would be 6 out of 60. Strawberry is 14 out of 60 surveyed. Chocolate is 18 out of 60 surveyed. Neapolitan is 5 out of 60. Key lime is 2 out of 60. Vanilla is 3 out of 60. And bubblegum is also 3 out of 60. So if we want to find the percentage for each one of these, we would write the numerator type the numerator into our calculator first, and then the denominator. So it will be 9 divided by 60. Nine divided by 60. And we get 15. Now if you want the percentage without a decimal, you just multiply by 100 and you get 15%. So I'm just going to write the 15% above that flavor so we can keep track of it. The next one will be 6 divided by 60. And that gives me 0.1. Multiplying by 100 gives me 10%. Next one we have is 14 divided by 60. And that gives me 23.333% when I multiply by 100. We'll round it to 23.3 with a bar across it. So 23.3 with a bar percent. All right, the next one is 18 out of 60. 18 divided by 60 gives me 0.3. And so now I'll multiply by 100. And I get 30%. 5 divided by 60 is my next one. And that gives me 0.08333 repeating. I'm going to multiply by 100, and I have 8.33%. Now if we look at that calculation, notice that the 3's repeat, so I'll just put a bar across the top and call that good. 2 out of 60 will be 2 divided by 60, and then I multiply by 100, and I get 3.33 repeating. So I'm just going to write 3.3 with a bar %. Now the last two are the same, so if I calculate one, I can get the other. So I'll have 3 divided by 60, and that gives me 0.05. Multiplying by 100 will give me my percentage, which is 5%. And since these are both the same, my vanilla flavor and my bubblegum flavor are both 5%. Now from here, I need to figure out how I'm going to draw my different graphs. I need a circle graph or a pie graph, and I also need a bar graph. And this would probably be much easier to do if we were on graph paper. So I would encourage you to do this on graph paper if you have it. Now I'm going to go through here and I'm going to look at my percentages. 23.3 repeating percentage is almost a quarter of this graph. So if I were to break this into 25% pieces, I know that strawberry is going to be just slightly less than that. And I'll just put an S there for strawberry. That's the only flavor that starts with S. Now, if I look at these other ones, I've got vanilla, bubblegum, and chocolate and mint would be 20%. I have something that's 30% here. So I'm just trying to figure out what the best method would be for breaking it apart. I know that vanilla plus bubblegum is 10%. So if I combined vanilla, bubblegum, and cookie dough, I know that that would be 25%. Let me change colors here. I'm going to draw the bubblegum, vanilla, and cookie dough in this 25% region up here in the top left corner of the circle. So 15% is the cookie dough, and then if I break the other remaining part into pieces, I'll have bubblegum and vanilla. Now the next one is going to be really small. It's going to be just over 3%. So we're going to call that the key lime. We have one that's at 30%, so that will be past 25 by a little bit. This is the chocolate. And then I also have, let's see, the Neapolitan, and I think that's it. The Neapolitan is 8%. So I need to go through and just double check. I've put the cookie dough here, so check. I have not done chocolate and mint yet, but I've done the strawberry, check. The chocolate, check. The Neapolitan I have not done. The key lime I've done here, so check. Vanilla and bubblegum, those are all spoken for. So the only two that are left are the chocolate and mint and the Neapolitan. So what I'm going to do is make the chocolate and mint just a little bit bigger than the Neapolitan. Now you might be thinking, well, how in the world would I know that? Well, you have to remember your benchmark segments of your graph, because when you're creating a pie chart, you have to keep track of where are my quarters and then how do the values relate to those quarters when I calculate the percentages. Now remember, quarters are 25%. This is probably the most involved calculation you'll see so far because there's so many different options. But if you can do this one, you can certainly do one that I would give you on a test. So we finished the pie graph. So now let's do the bar graph. The bar graph means that we need to figure out how much the maximum number of frequencies was, which is 18. So if we were to scale this and say that the maximum is 20, we wouldn't hit the maximum. And then halfway would be 10, and so then we could make a bar graph really quickly to represent each type of flavors. So we could say the first one is the cookie dough, which is 9. The next one is chocolate and mint, which is 6. The next one is strawberry, which is 14. The next one is chocolate, which is 18. The next one is Neapolitan, which is 5. The next one is key lime, which is 2. I'm going to rewrite this one here because the bar looked a little wonky. The next one is vanilla, which is 3. And I'm really trying to just relate it to the values off to the left. So vanilla is 3 and bubblegum is 3. So these would be perfectly good sketches of your work, although you'd probably want to fit them on a bigger sheet of paper. Now the next step will be going to this website here, metachart.com, and building a pie graph and a bar graph using the free software. There are prompts to help you through it, and you can check your work to see if these really quick sketches of both a bar graph and a pie graph are good representations. You also need to be able to find the total surveys given the frequency. I hope this helps.